Hello everyone, AkarFire here, and I'm back with a new update on my game Zaris. If you haven't seen the previous episodes of this devlog, then go and check them out, they're kinda cool. As I said in my last video, this time we are going to work on some really cool gameplay changes, which are supposed to make the game actually fun to play. So let's get started. I had some ideas before starting to work on this, but I still decided to do some brainstorming and planning to help me organize my thoughts. In a few words, we are going to have some cool hacking mechanics, completely overhauled progression system, skills and perks, and of course, melee weapons. Yeah, these things are basically a combination of my own ideas and some of the very cool ideas you guys suggested. So let's get to actual development. I decided to start with arguably the coolest thing out of the new mechanics, hacking Kunai. Basically, this is a throwable knife which you can use for hacking into robots and doing some cool things with them. But we are going to talk about that a little bit later. First, let's make the actual Kunai. After just a few minutes in Blender, I got this rather cool knife model with some glowing parts to show off its high-tech purpose. Then I got to creating some cool animations for it. Nothing too complicated here, just an idle state, an aiming state, and a rather simple throwing animation. After finishing with the visuals, I brought everything into Unreal and started implementing the mechanic itself. First, I gave Zaris an ability to switch between weapons. Then I implemented all of the new animations and reused my bow logic for the throwing. Yeah, this is why I always try to make every bit of code I write as reusable as possible. Like really, here I didn't have to code almost anything new, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So now when we can throw these things around, it's finally time to talk about why you should do that in the first place. Basically, I decided to change the looting system. Now when you kill a robot the normal way, you will get only one type of the available items. Like here I only got bright metal from a golem who is supposed to drop a whole bunch of different things. To actually get all of the drop from the robot, you will have to hack into its systems, and only then shower it with your arrows. To hack a robot, you have to get relatively close to it while hiding, and throw your hacking kunai at it. This will trigger the process of hacking. Once it's completed, the enemy will start to spark with these not very well made lighting effects and will drop more resources when it's destroyed. At the same moment, you can have only a fixed number of enemies hacked. Initially it's just one, but by progressing through the game with that new progression system I mentioned in the beginning, you will be able to increase this number and also unlock some really cool features which would sometimes be completely game changing. That's the idea at least. But we're probably going to work on this in the next video. What we are going to work on today are skills, cause stealthy mechanics are cool of course, but if you get spotted you will have to engage the enemies the old-fashioned way, by jumping around and shooting arrows at them. Doesn't sound too cool if you ask me. So we need to add something really interesting to spice up the things a bit. And this something is going to be a skill system. Basically you have two skills. A primary one which consumes energy displayed on this small bar, and a secondary one which just has a cooldown. You mainly get energy by killing robots. Also, the hacked ones give you more energy, so you should be even more motivated to hack everything you see in front of you. Just for testing, I added this optical camera skill, which is kinda overpowered at the moment, but again, it's just for testing. Like always, I managed to make the skill system really flexible, so it should be easy to implement any crazy idea I can come up with. Oh yeah, if you happen to have some cool ideas for skills for Zaris, then write them in the comments, I might actually implement some of them into the game. Yeah, my current secondary skill is basically a Breath of the Wild and Genshin style charge arrow, cause why not? I haven't really implemented any status effects for it yet, so it's just looking cool here. By the way, have you noticed how nicely the HUD moves when you rotate the camera? I really like this effect, especially considering that it only took me like 10 minutes to figure out. Okay, all of those changes are cool, but the enemies are still kinda stupid and boring to fight against. I am planning to create separate enemies for different biomes, but before that I do need to improve their behavior. First things first, I made them alarm the robots nearby when they spot you, get damaged or die. This means that if you want to hack them, you only have one shot at this, as once you get spotted, you can't start hacking anymore. Then I made it so the enemies tend to stay in groups to make alarming more efficient. I also made a few tweaks to the vision component to make them spot you better, but it's not much of a difference. Alright, guess this is it for today. In the next video we will work on the new progression system, which is going to be based on a skill tree. And until then, stay tuned, subscribe not to miss something cool, and I will see you next time. Bye bye!